This is the 2024 Range Rover Sport Dynamic SE. Is it a great luxury two-row SUV option? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at Land Rover Shreveport to give you the information to answer that question I phrased in the title of the video. If you want to know more about this particular Range Rover Sport, maybe come in and buy it at Land Rover of Shreveport, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color on this model is going to be a combination of Fuji white. It's going to have the gloss black roof line here. A very nice contrast, especially with the darkened windows, these nice privacy rear windows. Nice and dark. It matches. It actually, that black makes that look darker than it really is. The interior is going to be a combination of caraway and ebony. And let's see what else you're going to find here on this particular model. The one thing I wish Land Rover would do, in fact, there's actually two things, but we'll talk about the other when we get into the interior, but that is to have something more than just the basic decorative trim here, vents, if you will. They're not functional. Maybe they should be. Tell me what your thoughts are down in the comments section. Now, you will find plenty of functionality, however, here with the front end as far as LED lighting. LED headlights, LED daytime running lights. We'll also find fog lights down there on the lower portion of the bumper. A very nice look and functionality to go with that nice look. And you're going to find some gloss black in a lot of areas here, but I think it's tastefully done, not too much. Some people tell me that sometimes the gloss black is a bit much on the vehicles that they want to buy. And all-wheel drive is definitely going to be here, no questions asked about that. And let's go back here to the back tire because I want to show you something, and I'm going to tell you why I'm showing you this in just a second. We'll notice that the width on these tires is 285. The sidewall is going to be a 40 series, and right here, I hope you can see that on the screen, that's a 23-inch rim that all of that tire is wrapped around. It is in gloss black, and the reason I show you those numbers is because a lot of people may comment and say, no, those are 21-inch wheels. Yes, that's the standard wheel, but obviously there are other options that are available. And that 23-inch wheel is available. You will find a 23-inch rim and a full-size spare. That's always good to know. And a little bit more of that gloss black here with our mirror caps. Power adjustable, power folding side view mirrors, turn signal indicators built in, your blind spot monitoring built in, and they are power folding side view mirrors as well. They're heated. All of that's going to be there. Here is your remote for 2024. No changes where that's concerned, but just to show you in action, I'm going to hit that button right there. And you see a couple of things happening. Number one, you can see the turn signal indicator there flashing. You can also see the deployable door handles. That's going to help improve your gas mileage. So when you get in and the vehicle locks, these go inside of the door right there. That helps reduce drag. And we'll have our shark fin antennas up top, a very large rear roof spoiler, large enough to where we don't have a rear window wiper. That's neatly hidden away right here. It's not that it isn't here, it's just not exposed. We'll finish things off with LED taillights back here. And let's take a look at something else here. We don't have faux exhaust vents, as you can see. Just one of those things that I know sometimes people ask about. Maybe that's one of your questions. Now it's been answered. If somebody walked up to you and said, is your Range Rover Sport supercharged? You could say yes. If somebody walked up to you and said, is your Range Rover Sport turbocharged? You could say yes. That's because this is the 3-liter turbocharged and supercharged 6-cylinder. It makes 395 horsepower and 406 pounds-feet of torque. I'm going to lift the cover here to show you what's underneath. I will put that back in place so it stays in place during the test drive later on in the video. All of that is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Let's take a look at our MPGs on the window sticker right here. We're looking at 19 city, 25 highway, 21 combined, and 4.8 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And something that I like to do in my videos that not everybody does is give you the gas tank size. It is not capitalist fuel fill, by the way. And if you're curious, that is a 23.8 gallon gas tank. And one more thing about the doors that I need to show you instead of tell you about. They are soft close doors. If you're not familiar with what that means if you open the door and when you close it, if you don't close it all the way, the door takes over and finishes the job for you. If you want to tow with your Range Rover Sport, it's capable of towing as much as 7,716 pounds. It is on air ride suspension, which not only gives it a great ride quality, but as you can see, you can raise the rear. You can actually raise and lower the entire vehicle. But depending on what you need to do back here in this cargo area, well, you can raise and lower that. You do have a power tailgate here, and when we open that area, what we find is a cargo area that ranges between 31.9 cubic feet up to 83.5 cubic feet. You'll notice that the rear seats are going down. Those are power as far as going up and down, and now both seats are all the way down. Now, let's talk about how to do that. We're gonna use these switches right here, and the thing I like about that is that I don't have to hold those down. Notice I'm not using my hand right there, and the seats are coming back up into place. They go down into place the same way when you fold them all the way down. And we'll find the air suspension setup right here. So I'm going to lower the vehicle. Let's see if we can get that to happen for us. Probably won't be able to see a lot on the screen, but I'll show you the difference here in just a second. It does happen rather quickly. That's a good thing. So if you need to raise or lower the rear area for cargo reasons or whatever the case is, well, there you go. You can do that. And you can see that that's back down in place now. And when you get ready to close the rear cargo area, there's the button to do so. By the way, you do have cargo lighting back here, which is nice because it's on both sides. I really like to see that because that obviously makes a big difference. And something else is gonna be our 12-volt power outlet right there. There's a lot of versatility with this area alone. And you'll find the panoramic sunroof. The front portion will tilt and slide open, and obviously there is a power shade that can be drawn forward to avoid having too much heat come into this interior if it's a really hot day such as what we're having today. It's already over 80 degrees here in Northwest Louisiana, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. And we'll find the nice large door bin right here. Plenty of room for a large bottle right there. Nice comfortable armrest with plenty of space and nice materials throughout. If you're wondering what type of sound system this Range Rover Sport has, there it is, the Meridian sound system. Obviously very nice materials throughout. You can see that these seats recline. I'm going to move that up just a little bit and then bring it back so you can see the differences as far as that goes. And we'll lower the armrest right here. We actually have a built-in center console here, a little bit of storage space, and the cup holders that are concealed away until your passengers are ready to use one or both. And when the driver decides to drop the hammer on 395 horsepower, there's the oh crap handle. And something that is definitely useful, an air conditioning vent, not only here in the roof line area, but also on the rear of the center console. That's always good to have. So plenty of airflow for rear seat passengers. Everything is adjusted for the third and fourth zones of climate control. You have dual in the rear, dual in the front, and you can not only adjust the fan speed, the temperature, but you can also, what we're gonna do, I pulled on the knob right there on the dial to get to the fan speed, and then I pushed on it to get to the temperature. Then I'm going to push on it one more time to get to the heated seats. I dare not leave that on. Unfortunately, it's only heated, but that's just the way it is. Not the end of the world necessarily, and we'll find some connectivity options down here on the lower portion of the rear of the center console. And before we go any further, for those of you who are saying, Tom, what's the sticker price? Because you are kind enough to wait and watch the entire video instead of just asking in the comments section, it's $103,605. So let's see what else you get for the price. You're going to have your upper and your lower glove boxes here. There's our lower, and then we just push the button right here to open the upper. A little bit more space right there. Plenty of options for 12-volt power outlets and USBs and all that stuff throughout. Power adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger. Over there on the passenger side, something I'd like to see in a lot more vehicles, even when they're a lot less expensive than this Range Rover Sport. Seat memory for the passenger side. If you have it on the driver's side, you should also have it on the passenger side. At least that's my personal opinion on that matter. And we'll see over here, besides the seat memory and power seats that are adjusted right here on the door, we'll also have everything for controlling the side view mirrors and the windows, door locks. All of that stuff's going to be here, pretty easy to deal with. And a nice large door bin. A little bit more space than what we had with the rear doors, but that's nothing unusual. Over here on the right-hand side of the steering column is the adjustment for the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. I should say the control for adjusting that. It is power adjustable. You have your shifter paddles here for working your way back and forth through the 8-speed automatic transmission, and a digital instrument cluster, driver's display, whatever you wish to call that. And you can go through and actually make some changes to that depending on what you want to do. As you can see over here on the left-hand side, I'm not going to go through and show you everything, just to show you what's here, and also your head-up display settings. I don't know how well you can see that here. Hopefully you can see it there. I think you can on the screen. Hopefully my camera's picking it up, but it is there, as you can see by the adjustability that we have here on the screen. By the way, what I'm doing is I'm actually pushing this button right here on the steering wheel. That gets me there, as you can see, and then I will use the arrows to go back and forth through whatever I need to. Obviously, you have adaptive cruise control. All of those great safety features you've come to expect are going to be here. Over here is going to be the control for the headlights. You can have that on auto, where you can turn them on and off as you see fit. And you can also turn those off and on as you need to, not as you see fit, as some of you Shreveport-Bossier drivers do, the turn signals. Our front and rear window wipers, well, I can't really say anything funny or sarcastic about that, because everybody tends to use those most of the time. And the 13.1-inch Pivi Pro infotainment screen. That motion you see going through the screen is not actually happening. That has to do with my camera. That doesn't mean anything is wrong. But if you want to turn the auto stop start feature off, there's where you do that. Or if you want to turn it on, obviously you can do that there as well. There's a lot going on here. Navigation, you can see you can connect your phone. That's done wirelessly, and everything else that's here. Nothing out of the ordinary, but there's always so much to see where these Land Rovers are concerned. I'll show you some of the other features here. Obviously Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And how about your cameras? At this price point, I would be sorely disappointed if you didn't have a large amount of camera views from every conceivable angle, and you do, as far as this is concerned. So it's nice to be able to see all around your Range Rover, and you can do that a couple of different ways and see from far more than just a couple of different angles. Also the front views, just like the side, you can see what's going on there. Pretty easy to figure out. I like that. That's a good thing. Now the one thing I wish, well actually two things, I did mention this earlier, that I had something I wanted to tell you about that I wish was here, and that's better ambient lighting. Maybe we'll see that in the future from Land Rover. Just something that at the price point of the vehicle seems like it should be here. But what do you think about controlling the air conditioning, the heated and the ventilated seats, everything from within the screen? No physical buttons, nothing here. A lot of automakers are going to this style where it's a real clean setup. It looks nice and clean. However, personally, I would like to have something I can physically use, kind of like what we have in the rear seat back there, to control the air conditioning and all of those great features. Let's go into one more screen here. You can turn the screen off if you want to. I don't know why anybody would want to do that, but you could if you wanted to. You can go to home screen right here if you need to edit the layout and make changes. Obviously audio right here. And it's nice that you can see on the screen what's going on. Depending on what you change, you can make a lot of changes right there, depending on how you want things to sound. And then we can go to all right there. Quite a bit going on. Easy to figure out. If you need to do a software update, there you go. If you need to go to vehicle, there you go. How about your safety and security? I know people like to see what all is there just out of curiosity. And your last alarm trigger, not your first or your second, but last. Two-stage unlocking, you can turn all these things on and off. Approach unlocking, walk-away locking, it's all there in case you were curious. How about driver assistance? Well, you have your cruise and limiter, parking, collision avoidance. We're going to go into collision avoidance just to see what we have there, because this is a question I know a lot of you have. We have emergency braking and forward collision warning, driver condition monitor. Pretty easy to figure out what's here. And how about your driving position, driving modes? If you want to be more sporty looking, you can go into low right there, and the air suspension will do what it needs to do to achieve that height. Or if you want to go through high, and there might be times when you really need that, depending on where you live. If you get a lot of snow and ice where you live, and the roads have not been plowed properly, but people have been driving, and you have the tracks for the wheels, but you have that high spot in the middle, that's when it's nice to be able to get a little bit higher off the ground. Or you do have custom as well, so you can go in and change that and do whatever you want to. You'll just go to customize right here, and there you go. You can see what's there. There's so much going on here. I promise I'm not going to cover everything, but just to give you a slight idea of what's there, so much going on with the infotainment screen that we can do a video on that alone. You can see your wireless charging pad right here, and if you don't want to see your wireless charging pad, well, you don't have to. We'll open that back up. The shifter is something I really like because it's easy to get your hand around to go into drive. And speaking of that, you hear that? There's your parking sensors. You have front and rear parking sensors. Your camera will come on and let you see what's in front of you or behind you, depending on what you need to see. And the button right here to start and stop the engine. I've left all the plastic on here because that's the way the vehicle was when I found it, so I'm just going to leave it that way. And your cup holders can be concealed away, and you can also use the hidden compartment underneath. Quite a bit of space in there, as you can see. And then the center console. Honestly, I think the center console lid works as a better armrest than the built-in armrests. Tell me what you think about that. You can adjust the height with this dial right here. I guess you can call that a dial. I don't know if that's not what you call it. I promise you somebody will tell me down in the comments section. And the clear sight rear view mirror, that has a lot of advantages, but if you're more into the classic style rear view mirror, you can use that. But if you need to see around somebody who's sitting in the back seat, maybe you have 3 passengers back there or something in the cargo area that blocks your view, well, there's your option. And in some ways that's better. You can adjust it in a multitude of ways, but it gives you a little bit better view of what's going on behind you. It does take a little bit of getting used to. And up here with our upper console, you can see what's up there. Here's where you control the shade right here and open and close the power sunroof. One more thing I did want to show you real quick. In fact, 2 things we're going to go over here. First of all, let's go and take a look at our driving modes. Here's what we have. You got dynamic right up here. If we wanted to go to dynamic, we can do that. Comfort, eco. We'll also have auto terrain response, grass, gravel, and snow, sand, mud, and ruts. And then, remember I talked about if you're dealing with that real high water or snow situation, well, you can use Wade because it will lift the vehicle up. And one other thing I'm going to do here, let's get out of that, and I'm going to go over here to connect phone. I'm just going to show you how to do this real fast. There we go. I say it's going to be real fast, but that's okay. We can do this wirelessly, by the way, and all I'm going to do is go to Bluetooth right here, and you always go all the way down to the bottom right here. And there's going to be the option right there. We're going to see everything come up on the screen. We're going to pair. We're going to hit allow. We're going to hit yes on the screen right there. And we're going to make sure that we're using Apple CarPlay. Yes, use CarPlay. We're going to push that on the phone or select that on the phone. And for those of you who would like to hear what the stereo sounds like, here you go. Hopefully my mic does a good job of picking this up for you. And we'll try not to make that scene too long for you, but to help out just a little bit with just some added value for the video for those who might want to see what that sounds like. Again, I don't know how well my mic picked that up, and maybe not the best selection of music, but I don't need any copyright strikes. Okay, here we go on the test drive, and let's listen for a second. I don't know how well you could hear that, but I just drove over the railroad tracks right there, and I like to use that to gauge ride quality and some of the road noise, interior noise you might get from the road. Not too bad, but at the same time I could hear a little bit. I know some people say use a decibel meter, but the reality of that situation is a decibel meter gives you one reading. For somebody who has really good hearing, you might say it's acceptable to me. For somebody who maybe doesn't have as good a hearing, they might not have a problem with it. It just depends on what people will determine as being acceptable. For me, I think that the road noise is not bad. But, and hopefully we don't have any riding lawnmowers turning in front of us from the grass. I don't know how well you could see that from that vantage point, but very interesting. But a very nice ride quality. You would expect that with the air suspension. Definitely nice and comfortable and very responsive as far as getting down the road. When you need to get up to speed, it's not a problem. 395 horsepower seems to be more than enough. I don't think that you're going to have any struggles getting around depending on what you want to do. If that's not enough for you, there are other options that definitely offer a lot more horsepower than what this 3-liter 6-cylinder offers. But for the average person, I think that's going to do a great job, not going to be a problem. Obviously, overall, the ride quality and the seats, very comfortable, a very nice combination working between the two. One thing that I know a lot of people like to know about is the responsiveness of the gas pedal. Well, you definitely don't have any trouble here where that's concerned. It's very responsive to the touch of my foot, no issues where that's concerned, and the brakes seem to be easy to adjust to, at least by my experience. Again, that's something where you need to hop into these vehicles for yourself and see what you ultimately think. But I didn't have any trouble adjusting. I do drive a lot of different vehicles during the week, so I'm using a multitude of different vehicles that have braking systems that are aggressive, some not so much, some in between. It's not a big deal. Easy to see out of as well. And one of the big advantages, in fact, two of the big advantages we have here, obviously the clear sight rear view mirror and your blind spot monitoring in the side view mirrors. It's still not a big deal even without those things. Again, at least by my standards. Some people might say, I really like having that. It just makes me feel a lot more safe and secure out on the road. Overall, a well-balanced vehicle. One thing I didn't mention earlier in the video that almost seems useless to mention is the fact that you do have a heated steering wheel here. But considering the fact that we're at about 85 degrees right now, well, I most certainly don't need a heated steering wheel. Okay, tell me what you think about the 2024 Range Rover Sport Dynamic SE. Is it a great luxury two-row SUV option? Tell me what you think, and tell me what you would like to see in the future. Maybe tell Land Rover what you would like to see in the future when we see a full redesign of the Range Rover Sport. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Land Rover of Shreveport for loaning me this Range Rover Sport for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.